Thanks for staying with us now. Restructuring is the corporate management term for the act of reorganizing the legal, ownership, operational, or other structures of a company for the purpose of making it more profitable or better organized for its present needs. Now, nation building is hard, but it needs not to be difficult as we make it in Nigeria. Nation building is also intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. The real test is the leadership and the action that creates a real spirit of nationhood and the willingness of every stakeholder to build a united, stable, and cohesive nation. Now, over 60 years after independence, we are confronted today with the imperative of defining a future for Nigeria that escapes our country's past. Now, the problem in our country is that we avoid honest dialogue, which sometimes involves telling ourselves some uncomfortable truth. The cries of marginalization, restructuring, secessionist tendencies are at their core a cry for justice in our country. Now, if we must rebuild this nation and preserve her future, where should be the good place to start? That's the question for tonight. So please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Tweet at us at WeShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WeShow, or you send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So let me come to you, Lami. I mean, this is a conversation that we have. Sorry. Sorry. This is a conversation that we've had several times, like in different angles and all of that. But it seems like we're just talking and it's falling on deaf ears. What do you think, would be a good place to start if you want to restructure or revolutionize or whatever it is, the term we want to use for to change our nation?
I would say is the legislature.
Okay.
That was, in the first place, that was why we elected them. To oversee our own interests. And I think they are the legitimate people with the legitimacy to do what we're clamoring for. Because already we have 360 or thereabouts of representatives and 109. So why are they there? I don't know why it's falling on deaf ears. As far as I'm concerned, they also have the powers to change the constitution and all that. But my own question is, why are they refusing to do it?
Absolutely.
And I think the major problem is
greed.
Party affiliations.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me come to Isi. What do you think?
What I think basically is a total overhaul of our system. The way we do things, the educational system, which stems from what the youths are also, the way the youth, they think. If they are able to work on the mindset of the youth.
You think so?
I think
You think that's our problem?
I think, no. Look, we have one, according to Pastor Dele Farotimi, he said something about having, let's say, about 1,000 people holding the state or the country to ransom. And we have over 200 million people. If we are able to rejuvenate the mindset of all these 200 million, or let's say 100 million people, I think there will be a total change.
So you think it should start from the mindset?
It is. I'm an advocate for mindset.
Everything
mind shift. Is mind shift. Thank
Absolutely.
You. A shift.
All right. So let me
What's
just
your take?
My take.
Yeah. You're not going to escape that.
I'm not going to escape it, right? In all honesty, in as much as I believe that one person can make a difference, I think we are all in this. We are all culpable when it comes to restructuring Nigeria.
Yes.
Because it is one thing for you to say that, yes, I want a new Nigeria. Can you handle what comes with a new Nigeria? Where your brother will be in a position to say that is in a position of power, and you will not be going there to say, but you're my brother now.
That's where the mindset shift
it's corruption.
You have to change
I'm not
your
seeing it from the
mindset.
angle you're seeing it from.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that as a long-term change.
No, but you see,
I
the
am
change.
looking at the short-term change.
No, there's no short term in this matter.
There's
no short term. Let me bring in our
the
guest.
insecurity, the economic issues and all that. At least something short-term.
There's no short term in it. It's a long-term project. It's just the way I'm raising my children. I'm raising them to understand value. I'm teaching them. They're not just demanding for things. My sons would add, they would tell you they would demand value for whatever you want to exchange for them. Do you understand? So let me bring in our guest. Dele Farotimi is a lawyer, author and a member of the Citizens Rally Against Oppression. He served as president of the Students' Union at Lagos State University in 1994/95, and he was called to bar in 1999. He established Dele Farotimi and Co. in 2002, a full-service law firm which is known as DF Legal. He remained in active legal practice until his retirement in 2018 at the age of 50. Now, he's a political commentator, an author of the book Do Not Die in Their War. And Dele Farotimi is passionate about the birth of a better and a new Nigeria. And he's joined us live via Zoom. Thank you so much.
I'm not sure how this network is working or if you have me, but good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
So I hear your video is upside down. So if you just quickly turn that for us.
It's not me. It's the technology.
Okay, you are fine now.
I have managed to resolve that. I'm sorry.
Nope, not a problem.
The line actually went off and I had to.
Not a problem. It's fine now. Okay, so doctor, I said doctor. Why do I feel like calling you a doctor?
Me now.
Dele Farotimi, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, so
It's a pleasure.
in fact, getting you to have this conversation with us was really something, because we kept on going back and forth with Shayo about, everybody's tired. Everybody seems to be tired about talking about Nigeria. It seems like we're talking and it's just falling on deaf ears. It's like nobody seems to get the picture. So for me, I think tonight, I just wanted to have a conversation to understand maybe if there's a low-hanging fruit where we can start from. Because the truth is, we cannot run away from restructuring or a revolution in Nigeria, because that is the only way we can become productive as a country. Where we are right now, I mean, it's like going back in circles, right? We're not productive, nothing is happening. So if we want to have a decent conversation tonight to say, okay, you know what? Let's drop everything we know. Where do we start from?
You ladies have, you started with a lot of stuff. First, I was busy hearing all about the polyandry thing, and I was thinking, okay, if only Nigeria could have only this sort of problem to deal with on a day-to-day basis, it's just the women having more than one husband, that would just be fantastic problems to be dealing with. But no, that wasn't the problem with us. By the time you started showing the clip by Pastor Dele Farotimi, and then you let on the snippet about the meeting with Mr. Falana, I was left with a lot on my mind, a lot to ponder. But the question you've asked, you give me a few minutes to just try and unbundle some things. The question is, where do you begin restructuring Nigeria? But the truth is, we might have even missed the restructuring train if we are not careful.
Wow.
Pastor Dele Farotimi is not a man unknown to me. I once attended that church, and he's a merchant of hope. Like all pastors, they deal in hope. Christianity itself is about hope. But when you hear one of the most hopeful merchants of the gospel in Nigeria begin to speak of a plan B, you then realize just how hopeless our situation has become. That is on one hand. And then you hear the asininity of some people who should know better, imagining that a change of personnel might possibly save Nigeria. No man, no single man, or even a group of men, without changing our current structure, can change Nigeria. The problem with Nigeria are foundational. The problems, they are foundational. We are not citizens in our own country. We've talked about this before. But the most dangerous part of our situation is that we are not a country governed by laws. We do not have rulers who believe themselves bound by the laws. They themselves have placed themselves above the law. The law appears to be what the occupant of Aso Rock says it is at any point in time. And that is suggestive of a society that is not anchored by law. We can talk restructuring, but we also must remember that within the same system where we are seeking a restructuring, there exists dates such as the 20th of October, and there still exists vast number of Nigerians who have bought into the lie that nothing happened on that day. And yet some of us continue to hope and believe that we can somehow prevent the looming war. Because when someone like Pastor Paul is telling you he has a plan B and he's talking about how these guys are crazy, there is a lot he has left unsaid, but that we must on our own begin to unpack. In this country, you are having students picked from their classrooms, picked from their dormitories. The government is busy negotiating the freedom of innocent kids with people they have termed bandits when they should be correctly labeled terrorists. But in Imo State, the army is proud to advertise the number of IPOB people whom it had tagged terrorists. And we are all in the same country. Look, the matter of Nigeria structuring is just a byword for me now. It's a byword for as best as we can, a turnaround. Nigeria is going to end up either in a war or it would have to find a peaceful path through a revolution. A revolution simply means a turnaround. It means turn round. If the path you are taking is unsustainable, it becomes inevitable that anyone with a modicum of brain in their head ought to understand the urgent need to turn around. Why should it be so difficult for people to understand that in this age and time, it is impossible to keep anyone down by force? It is in human nature to demand freedom. It is in human nature to demand equality and justice. The Nigeria that is being built in this age and time is one that appears to be raising back to antediluvian times, the Middle Ages. We are in a place right now where the state has lost control of vast territories. We are still talking restructuring. Our matter, look, when I posted the banner for your talk today, a lot of my followers and friends on social media, I kept quiet. But the general sentiment these days is that our matter has worsened beyond where restructuring as a slogan does not work. If we're talking restructuring and there aren't concrete and urgent steps taken by the powers that be in Nigeria urgently to convene a sovereign national conference of the ethnic nationalities of Nigeria with a view to critically re-examining the foundations of our country, Nigeria will be having these talks post-war. It is inevitable.
Wow.
People like us might talk, we can talk peace all we want, but the reality on the ground is that the voices of war have begun to sound reasonable to the desperate because the Nigerian state appears to have become completely complicit in the existential battles that almost every tribe in Nigeria is fighting against Fulani headsmen or Boko Haram or bandits. Even the Fulani are fighting Fulani headsmen. Kankara is Fulani land. The children were Fulani children. Zamfara, most part of, so we are in a situation where it is easy to talk about 1,000 people. It's not 1,000 people. It's a class. And that class runs across the length and breadth of Nigeria. There are Yoruba senators in the Senate. There are Yoruba House of Representative members. They come, they represent Yoruba land, they represent Igbo land, they represent all the ethnic nationalities. And how many of them are speaking? So when we're talking restructuring, Nigeria has actually regressed beyond a point where I'm not even sure offering some people restructuring without genuine and urgent steps being taken will bring them to the table again. People believe that their very lives are at risk by being in the Nigerian Federation because it has become a killing ground.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me come in.
No, my question, I think he's already answered it in what he said. I was going to say, you're talking about the Sovereign National Conference, but we already have the legislature, which we elected. So what are they doing? Why do we have to duplicate functions? Why can't we just wait for 2023 and elect the right people?
You see, I am fond of saying that every time you want to build anything, you build it on the back of your foundation. It has to come on top of something. The current government in Nigeria, found on the 1999 Constitution, is an illegal government that does not rest on the will of the Nigerian people, because nobody, none of us, with the very first line of that Constitution, it is a lie. It says, we the people. Which people? Abdul Salami shot his way to power. He succeeded Abacha, who overturned the will of the people. And then they are creating a document and they are saying, we the people. And you are expecting the beneficiaries of that fraud to relinquish the powers that they have amassed to themselves, where the Constitution has assured that we the people serve those who are meant to be serving us. We call it a democracy, but our votes do not count. We are not citizens. They are not, They are not our leaders. They are not even rulers. This is a ruining class, a ruining class. Look around you. Look, even the religious, okay, listen to what Pastor Paul said. You think he's the only pastor with a plan B? How many of the congregants have their plan B? How many congregants have plan B? How many Nigerians have plan B? How many can even get out of the location where they are living, even if they have their monies? Where are they going? I expressed a sentiment some years ago. I said, I hope that we will not all end up in foreign lands as refugees with our grandchildren on our laps, talking about the good old days of Nigeria. And we are getting there. Because we sit down in Lagos, and even in Lagos itself is a bloody jungle now.
Yes.
People are threatening people's lives in this town, and nothing is happening, and we are still talking about restructuring. Let's be clear about something. The reality in Nigeria today is that the current government, the entire system, is not about persons. It's simply that the system has been dragged to the extent where it has lost all credibility with those whose consent it requires to govern. Vast portions of this country do not deem this government legitimate any longer. Why should people be killed in their homes, in their hundreds?
And nobody is even saying anything about it.
Pictures of bombing in Afghanistan. Have you checked the bombings in our own country?
Absolutely. I mean, this is really tiring. And that's why I said when I was having that conversation with, you know, the SAN, and I was telling him, are you sure that because one human being, the wrath that we are experiencing in Nigeria, one human being cannot upturn it. It's not possible. One human being got everybody into this mess. It took one human being to get everybody into this mess. It took one human being to get... Look, let's be clear about something. Nigeria has always been ruled on the consensus of the ruling class, which says we can keep biting the people, but we will maintain an ethnic balance that keeps the country afloat so that we can still in peace. But that consensus has been destroyed. Corruption was generally democratized under President Jonathan. What has happened under this government is that corruption has been privatized and turned into a weapon with which to bludgeon his opponent on the head. Why is that still everybody blind? They talk about crazy figures and nobody ever gets right. Magu was the first. What has happened to Magu since then? Nothing. I mean, was it not, we were just talking about the
Now they are talking Adiza. What will happen to Adiza?
Absolutely
Let me put it
nothing.
on the paper. Let me put it on tape now. Nothing will happen to Adiza. Absolutely nothing. But it has served the purpose. What happened to Onoge? Nothing. It was a weapon. Remove him. That's not to say the man was corrupt or not corrupt, but it was a weapon with which to remove him. And that was the end of it. So please.
You know what? Let's just take a very short break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. It's getting really heated.